don't try to do things that you are not meant to be doing just because you feel you have to do them.
I forgot about all my business already.
Super excited about this chat. I've been in the game for many years now.
And I was like, wow.
But yeah, it's been an amazing journey, something that I would not trade for anything else.
Hello, guys. This is Belov Podcast and Alex with you. Today I'm with Luis, who is the founder of marketing agency. And we talk about this a little bit later, but I'd like to let Luis introduce himself first, and then I'll tell about myself a little bit. So, Luis, please tell us about you, about your business and your life.
All right, Alex, thank you so much for having me in your podcast. Super excited about this chat that we're about to have. So yeah, as you well said, my name is Luis. I'm the founder of Next Day Agency. That is a digital marketing agency focused on Facebook and TikTok ads with a system that we have created that combines the paid advertising side of things and also the content generation. I've been in the game for many years now. However, I decided to start my own agency in 2017 when I used to live back in Colombia, Latin America. Since then, there has been a lot of changes. I think that we have to evolve and adapt as technology does on a yearly basis. But yeah, it's been an amazing journey, something that I would not trade for anything else. And I'm excited to dive deeper into the details. Yeah.
Cool, Colombia, interesting. So,
Yeah.
how about Portugal? How long do you stay here?
So right now I've been living in Portugal for about 2 years. I did live in Colombia for 6 years, and that's where I really got to dive deeper in the digital space. I worked for a communications company there. I was the person in charge of leading the digital department. It was an area in the digital in the communications world that I had not touched on, and that's where I kind of discovered my passion around the digital marketing space. Originally, many years ago, when I was a younger kid, I started working under the hands of my older brother that has a design and communication company in Barcelona. So got really involved into branding, creative branding, and also website development. At that point, I had no idea about digital marketing and the power that it really has and how it can influence people. And it was once I moved to Colombia that I realized the huge opportunity and how really fun it can be to know that with your digital advertising efforts, you can influence people's emotions and the decisions that they make towards a certain product or business. I thought that was amazing. And I am also a very emotional person. And as we were chatting before this podcast started, I'm really into personal development and, personal growth. And I think that they both go hand in hand. I think that the digital marketing space is a very emotional space, and that's one of the reasons that I love it so much. And I ended up where I am today. Yeah.
Okay. And when you moved to your clients, moved with you, I mean, do you work with local clients more, or you find clients in some specific country? Doesn't matter where you're located.
Yeah, so it's super interesting question. So in 2017, when I decided to start the agency, I began myself with a laptop on Starbucks, just doing the typical freelancing job. I made the right partnerships back then and had the opportunity to build a 7-person team that was physically located in Bogota, Colombia, in the capital. Then the pandemic hit. I think that for anybody and everybody in the planet, it was kind of like a time for change. And I saw an opportunity to go back to Europe, which is where, the roots, where my family is, my friends are. I had been away for about 12 years living in America. Before Colombia, I lived for 6 years in Miami. So as soon as the pandemic hit, it was a time for change. I decided that it was time to go back to Europe. So I decided to kind of cut everything off in Colombia, from my team to my clients. And it was a chance to also change a little bit the business model that I was implementing back then. I started with the digital agency focusing more on our orbital strategy, meaning that we focused on the branding, the website development, social media management, but more on the organic side of things. And we did a bit of Facebook ads. But then I started identifying a trend that was more directed to the TikTok and content generation side of things, especially as I was used to work with a lot of e-commerce brands. We realized that the Facebook ads approach was something that wasn't necessarily working anymore as it used to work. And I saw kind of that light at the end of the tunnel saying, okay, so TikTok is now a fresh platform. I'd rather get into TikTok early, before it is too late and it gets
Yeah.
saturated just like Facebook did, and look into the user generated content side of things, right? So we used to be an agency that used to focus a lot of static content, animation, and video content, but did not have the human side of things. And as digital marketing evolved, we realized that there was a huge opportunity for content creators to start kind of working along with us and generating content for the e-commerce brands that we worked with. And that's where the entire transition took place. So we went from kind of an organic social media management agency with a little bit of Facebook ads to push on our clients' results, to a TikTok ads and Facebook ads system that relied completely on user generated content in order to get the results that we were looking for.
Mhm. That's super cool because
Yeah.
I spent some time in Asia and they really love TikTok. But at the same time, on the west side of the world, they always said like, "Hey, TikTok is just a joke. It's for kids. It's for dancing, but not for business." And they said like, "Hey, I'll never go to TikTok with my business. My business is so serious. It's not about jokes." So how did you manage these?
I think that one of the most important parts when you're offering such a service, and especially when you know that some of the companies that you may be working with are have a very traditional mindset, I think that education becomes a priority, right? So I am very transparent and honest with the people that I work with, and in fact, before I even start working with somebody, I make sure that they really understand the potential of the systems that we have in place, right? I think it makes complete sense that a lot of brands and businesses may be skeptical around certain platforms and investing a certain amount of money in order to grow their business. However, the only reason they're skeptical is either because they don't know what the actual power of the tool has, or they have not experienced results with it. So sometimes being able to come forward and offer them a little bit of added value, maybe, I like to, for example, if I'm going to work with your brand, I may offer you an audit of your brand to help you understand, look, this is where you currently stand in terms of results. And this is where you could be with the right system in place, right? So education is a very important factor. I think that being honest and transparent is also very important, helping them understand, look, I don't want you to really miss on this opportunity. This
Yeah.
opportunity has a lifespan like any other opportunities in the digital space, and let me show you how I can really help you, and let me give you more than you expect without expecting anything in return from your end. And I think that's a very effective way to kind of hook new customers and businesses that want to grow, but they still don't believe so much in the systems that you have.
And what happened after they get results? Did they trust to TikTok?
Yeah, and the thing is that and as we were talking before, I think it goes beyond the platform itself. I think that the system is amazing, TikTok is amazing, user generated content is amazing, but in the end, is what type of emotional.
They trust you. Okay.
Exactly,
Yeah. So
exactly. Like I have a lot of meetings weekly of potential businesses that we can work with. Up to date, I have to say that I like to filter very well the people that I work with because I'm looking to build long-term partnerships, right? And when one of the things that allows you to build a long-term partnership is trust, credibility, right? And being able to go beyond just that business connection. I like to build friendships with my clients. I like to build genuine connection where they understand, okay, so I'm not only working here with a service provider, Luis and his team are an extension of my team, and that's where the true value comes into place. Because I hear from a lot of clients and businesses that they may work with an agency and they sign a 3 month contract and then all of a sudden they disappear or they don't reply to messages. I think that's a common denominator amongst many businesses online today. I think it's pretty sad because in the end, the things that you do and your job should be enjoyable and you should be able to be so passionate about it that your clients can feel it and they can get you know the service according to to what you really love doing and help them love it just like you do. So I think that's super key for sure.
That's cool. That's really cool.
Yeah.
But you definitely feel the difference between people here in Europe who work like for a company, like a contractor or hired person, like in house, in office, and business person like you who has to work like 7 days a week. I mean, the question is, did you find that balance in your work life approach, or you still trying to build the perfect system here?
Oh, I think that I'm constantly trying to improve my systems and
Yeah.
processes. I think one thing that is very clear to me is the business model that I want for the agency, which is the business model that we have had since pretty much 2017, which is finding the best talent that does not necessarily need to be physically present, freelance talent from
Mhm.
across the globe, and being able to have that versatility of I think that's the beautiful thing of the digital world, right? Before back then it was like, okay, so I live in Spain. I need to find people that are in Spain to work with me. Now you can be like, all right, so I may have a person in Japan that works in my team. I may have a person in the US. Being able to actually recruit the best talent from all over the world. I think it is one of the most amazing things that has happened since 2019, 2018 for me, and I think that the fact that we had the pandemic was a great opportunity to materialize on that business model a lot more. And it allowed us to open the gates to all those businesses that before did not believe on a freelance all over the world type of team dynamic. And now they understand that not only they can get the best talent from all over the world, but at the same time, thanks to the technological advances and thanks to all of the resources and platforms that we have in the digital space, we are able to still keep that emotional connection, still keep the communication flowing. It is no longer a limitation, right? Not even time zones is a limitation anymore. Like, I, we don't really have very specific systems in the agency when it comes to time zones, but we do know that as long as there's a certain level of availability and we can set some weekly meetings where all of us are together, we manage to keep that company culture without losing that touch that we need with each other. And then the rest, it all comes down to our ability to communicate on platforms like Slack, use Trello, use Zoom, all of these
Mhm.
resources that allow us to keep that team connection without the need of being present. So I think that has
Exactly.
been, yeah.
Yeah, we use exactly the same. Slack and Trello are my best friends. I mean, Slack is like lifesaver. I was so happy when
Nice.
they released it, and I'm user from their first days, and we use it like every day a lot. And someone can say that it's like time wasting tool, but I do not agree. I mean, when the team is huge, probably if you start doing like topic-less discussions, like every day we talk about nothing, yeah, maybe. But if you do good structure, you split your channels like by projects, by clients. You know, this channel is for this project, and you follow this topic. So for us it works perfectly, and I'm very happy with it. I mean, before it wasn't that easy to communicate between the inside the remote team. And yeah, you're right. Right now we have a lot of people from different parts of the world, and even time zone is not so important. We work with United States clients a lot, and for some of them, time zone is important for some reason. But when we try to explain and we work first week, 2 weeks, or first month, they feel that it's okay. Anyway, we don't have to write an email and wait for 3 5 days, as it usually happens. For big companies, for enterprise communication. We are here. We just may not reply instantly the same hour, but within 12 or 24 hours you'll get your response. We can even talk in real time. Unfortunately, some clients become I think too aggressive in using this opportunity and try to take more of your time than you're ready to offer. But of course, we are always ready to go extra mile. But at some point, we have to very polite explain that it's not a place for like real time talks. We still need some directions from you, but give us some freedom to work. Give us to
100%.
focus. Give us some time to focus on things, and don't request calls every hour. So
Yeah.
yeah, but it's some kind of a time when you need to find the best way for both sides. And once you set up these standards, everything goes so smooth. So yeah, that's really cool. But my main question about your flexibility and work-life balance is your personal work-life balance. So do you feel that you have enough time for your friends, your hobby, or you still businessman like 24/7?
No, no, I mean, definitely quality of life is a high priority for me. Every day, the first, I'm an early riser, you know, so I like to wake up early, and the
Okay.
first,
Okay.
first, I try to wake up 5 a.m. in the morning.
Wow.
The first 3, 4 hours of the day are my time, right? So
Yeah.
I'm a person that does meditation. I like to practice breath work. I take cold showers in the mornings, like to have my time for reading and organizing my day. I think this is super, super crucial because sometimes it is very easy to get lost in business and forget about how important it is to take care of yourself when that should be the main priority. Unless you are doing good or you feel good with yourself, there is no way that you're going to be efficient in business at all, right? So that has always been a main priority. It is, as hard as business can be sometimes, it is very also hard to determine which is the perfect routine for you and the things that really matter to you. But that time for myself allows me to then deploy the best energy and the best of my service to the people that I work with. And that is also including my friends, you know. So for example, this weekend, I am currently living in Trafaria, which is a little village on the other side of Lisbon. I lived in Lisbon for a year and a half, decided to move to this village because I am in between nature. I have a forest next to my house. I have the river, the beach, and really allows me to disconnect and stay focused on my work. And whenever I do want to socialize and spend time with my friends, I just take a little boat. I go to Lisbon and I socialize with my friends. And that has been an incredible change from a personal and also professional standpoint, really, really, really priceless. And then, for example, on Wednesday, I'm flying back home. I'm going to Mallorca, which is where I'm from. I'm going to spend 6 days with the family there. Also, some time to recharge. And I think that keeping that balance allows me to have the energy that I need for business without losing the energy that I need to be good with myself and with the people that matter to me in my life, So it's like I say, a lot of times it's hard to find that balance and you need to get lost. You need to touch rock bottom. You need to try things that don't work in order to find the thing that actually works for you in the end. And it's like this constant search for balance and well-being that I feel like we live on. I think there is no such thing as perfection when it comes to work-life balance. I think it's trial and error. Try things that work, try things that not work, and then put it all together and see what comes out of it for the best of you. So yeah, I think that is definitely a challenge, but something that we keep improving on and we keep finding our strengths and weaknesses to find that ideal point that we need to be happy, let's say.
That's interesting, and I feel like you're really happy man. That's cool. Your morning routine is very interesting because I think mornings are very important. And that's very interesting place in Portugal. You mentioned like because right now we stay in Lisbon, and probably in 1 year or more we hope to move to some more like some countryside as well, especially that like size of the country is not that big, so It doesn't take a lot to move from Lisbon to somewhere else and back. So yeah, we'll discuss it later.
100%.
And
100%.
yeah, I'm asking because I think it's part of my personal story as well. And I started around 9 years ago, and I worked like crazy. I worked like 24/7. I mean, I sleep like 8 hours, and all the time. Apart from that, I work, and I learned a lot. Of course, I learned a lot of coding. I was focused on WordPress, and I know it really well now. I can teach people how to work with it. I mean, complex projects, not just kind of playing with themes or something like that. We do really complex stuff, and I did a lot. I did a lot of tasks every day, 5, 6 clients. Like my head was almost blown up, but I tried my best. I learned a lot, and at the end of the day, I felt like, hey, I got money, I got new knowledge, I got new skills, and that's so cool. But I didn't notice how it led to some big problems later when I became part of this working world, and forgot about everything else. And it was so difficult to notice it then as a first step. Then the second step, it was so difficult to find some way to change this. So I worked as a freelancer, the same as you at the beginning. And then I started to build in the company, started to hire, and I hired just 1-2 developers at the beginning. I tried to go slow and tried how to manage this correctly, how to work with clients, keep them happy. Even that was the big step for me. So stop doing coding like by my hands and delegate it to someone else. It was really complicated for me. I did it. I started to hire people, and some people gone, some people come, and I learned a lot about hiring process, about education and management of the team. But I still felt like I spent all my free time with clients, and I moved to communications, to sales, but I still worked all my free time. So I didn't have a free time actually. That was fine. I was happy with it. I was in agreement with myself because I needed money. I needed to grow up. I had a family at some point, and I have 2 kids already. So I feel that, yeah, they need to grow up. They need some support. At the same time, I understood that they need my attention and this kind of support, not just like material support. That was the hardest part for me. And last year, I think 2022, I've got some problems. We got less clients. We got really bad financial results of our agency, and I didn't realize what the real problem was. But at some point, I noticed that it's because of me. I didn't feel healthy. I didn't feel relaxed. I didn't feel happy. And I just try to fix the problem. I try to fix it every day, working even more, but problem that just became bigger and bigger, and I didn't understand like why. I try harder, I do more, but big problem just got bigger and bigger. It was like really hard time. Then I decided to let my team lead. His name is Nick, and he is really amazing person. I let him do the communication with clients, and we partners with platform for premium WordPress work called Codable, and I let them sign into my account to talk with clients from my name, from name of our agency. And after a couple months, he got more clients than I was able to get, and even bigger clients, bigger projects, and more complex projects, because he wasn't afraid like he cannot do something. He was sure that we have a professional team, everything is possible, and he tried to talk about projects that I would never talk about, like something, even I don't understand what they're talking about, I mean in technical part. And it was the next step that made me really happy. I got some free time, I enjoyed that time, and things became better and better. but I still was every day on my phone, on my computer, and I never allowed myself to stay away from online, like stay offline for more than one day ever. And I had some dream that I thought about maybe several years. It was Vipassana course. You know about Vipassana, right? So we stayed in Thailand, and it was a perfect place to go to 10 days course. But I was so scared, like, hey, how can I leave all this for 10 days? Can you imagine, like, for 8 years, I never had even 10 days holidays or like vacation. So yeah, it was a tough decision, but I decided, yeah, I have to do that. I have to try and see how it goes. Of course, during the Vipassana course, it was really easy to forget about anything, about any problems. I felt really good. I spent a lot of time, and I focused on this. So all my attention was focused on the practice. And I third, 4 day, 5 day, it was super easy. I forgot about all my business already. And but at the last day, like 10 days left, and I was so scared to take my phone back because you don't have an access to any devices during your course. And we got back to the bus. I got my phone back, and nothing bad happened. We got one new client without myself. I didn't even know that person. We finished some parts of previous projects. All team worked really well, and I was like, wow, this is real. And that changed my life at all. So I stopped controlling everything around me, and I just let it go. So yeah, that's why I wanted to know about your balance. But I feel that you know this, and you found your way as well. That's really cool, and I think it's a crucial part of every founder journey during the business foundation, during the development of the business, and that's some like tough point you have to overcome. So yeah, that's
So
my story.
I think your story is absolutely amazing, and it really comes down to tell you, okay, so in order to really find myself in my entrepreneurial journey, I need to let go, right? Because I feel like we become tangled up in this cycle where we are
Yeah,
constantly learning, constantly looking for new things, obsessed about client acquisition and client services and finding new structures and processes in the agency. But that's cool. And I think that is a consequence of educating yourself and is a part of the experience that you live as an entrepreneur. But what I feel is like most entrepreneurs are in a journey that they don't necessarily feel passionate about sometimes, that they don't necessarily love or like, and I think that's the most important part of being an entrepreneur or having a business is you are meant
yeah,
to love it. You are meant to enjoy the process. And sometimes our obsession in the process and in the day-to-day results makes us forget about what really matters, which is you. Is
exactly.
unless you have that well-being within yourself, there is absolutely no way that you're going to find well-being in your entrepreneurial journey or in your business life, right? And sometimes we need to let go and even take a break. Let's say, okay, I need a 10-day break. Let me take a break for 10 days. Let me dedicate time to myself and come back fresh and really ask yourself, what is my intention? Like, what is my purpose? Is my purpose really helping clients? Is there anything deeper than just helping clients? Why am I doing this? Like my intention, for example, with my business is genuinely help businesses. When I have a client is I've worked with clients in the past that we've been very successful with, and I've worked with clients in the past that we maybe did not reach our desired results. But I have the peace of mind that I know that for every single client, the ones with a positive outcome and the ones with maybe we didn't reach the goals, I know that I gave it my all in the process. And there's no better feeling. And when you give it your all and you're really passionate and you do it with a purpose, you feel it and the client feels it. and they are super grateful. And that comes down to my philosophy is always going, I like what I do so much. And I know how much my clients matter to me from an emotional standpoint. As humans, not as businesses, as humans. There is a human behind every business. I think that when you start focusing more on the human behind the business than the business itself is when magical things happen. You know, it is very easy to break
Yeah.
a business to business connection because it's very superficial. But when you're trying to break a human to human connection, that is a tie, that is a connection that is, if it's solidified, if it's well tied, it's very, very hard to let go. And today, in the world that we live today, I think that business owners and the clients that you may have, they value a lot more the human connection that they have with you than not the business connection that they have with your agency. Right?
Yeah, I agree, because so many businesses around, so many competitors, so many companies do the same thing, but some always busy, some always trying to find clients, and nobody wants to work with them. And for this reason, I think that's why it's important for us to show our expertise, our approach in this podcast, in our social media, everywhere, because people see you, people listen to you, and they feel if it's a match or if it's not, or no, it's not the approach I would like to have for my company. So yeah, I'm not going to work with Luis, or yeah, I would love to work with Luis. I can wait for a half year to work with him. So yeah, I absolutely agree. This is very important, especially in this real digital life when millions of companies appear every day, and you don't know if it's real, if it's AI based or something else. You don't even know if someone exists in real life. Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's why I think like podcasts, for example, is such a good platform to create content that is valuable and that is human.
Yeah.
I think
Yes.
that the challenge 2024 and the 5 years, 10 years to come, whatever comes now, AI and VR and all of artificial intelligence is taking over, right? I think that the real challenge is how do you stay human in an artificial intelligence world, right? I think that's the challenge because soon we're gonna be watching videos where we don't know if it's an actual human or is an AI creation, right? And there's already videos online where you see, I don't know, yeah, I think I saw an Elon Musk video the other day where it seemed like it was him, but it was just AI
Yeah,
generated, and it's
of
so
course.
real. The voice is perfect, everything is perfect. It's still missing that human touch. It's the same thing with ChatGPT. I think ChatGPT has been probably one of the greatest things that has happened to me this year. I love it.
Same, same.
I use it every day, and the
Yeah.
challenge is how do I humanize ChatGPT and what I'm looking for. If I'm working for, if ChatGPT is helping me create some copy for a landing page, if ChatGPT is helping me create some copy for TikTok ads or Facebook ads, right? You get a lot of value from it, but I think it's so important. Your input as a human, I think, is never going to lose its importance, especially in an AI centered world that we're starting to dive into, so
Yeah. It's more
100%.
like an assistant. For example, for this podcast, I asked ChatGPT to prepare some topics and that I sent you. But I explained about myself. I told him about yourself, your agency, what you do, what's your main business industry, and we got some really nice topics. Even if we didn't touch most of them today, but they're great. And so yeah, it's more like an assistant. But if you ask him to be the main person, like main source of information and content, of course it's not valuable. It doesn't provide any value here.
Yeah, and one of the things to add there that I think is important is I think that one of the most amazing things that we're getting right now from, let's use it again as an example. I think it's absolutely amazing, ChatGPT, which is something.
Mm-hmm.
It is a technology that nobody expected. And from night to morning, all of a sudden it came out, and we were able to access an absolutely incredible resource with all of the world's information, where by using certain parameters, you can get all of the outcome that you want from it, right? Now, that means we are now getting a lot of time that is being saved. We are becoming more efficient in execution because we have an artificial intelligence software that is doing it for us, which is an opportunity for us to take all of the time that we are saving thanks to this resource and be able to invest that time into emotion, into personalization, into humanization of content, in order to maintain that bond that we have with our audience, maintain that bond that we have with the humans that we interact in the digital space. It's not so much, okay, so now I have ChatGPT, maybe a document that before it would take me an hour to make, now in 15 seconds I have it on the screen, right? Now, let me use those additional 55 minutes that I would have required before without ChatGPT and invest those into emotion and into taking what ChatGPT is doing for me and making it as human as possible, as emotional as possible. And I think that's where the winning users of ChatGPT or artificial intelligence are going to really make the difference, right? Because if you realize when ChatGPT works on something, a lot of times it has this robotic, or you can tell that it's kind of like a robot that is creating it for
Mm-hmm.
you, and being able to humanize it, I think, is what really makes the difference here. So I think that's super important.
Okay. And did you try to use it somehow in your business already? I mean, apart from writing a content, advertising, marketing, is it
Yeah.
really
So
valuable for your business?
yeah. So I'm planning on using it a lot more, especially when it comes down to strategy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, I am thinking right now at the beginning of 2024, I want to start a newsletter for the agency, which is something we haven't done before.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to be able to build a newsletter through a lead magnet. So, as I mentioned before, before I even ask you to be a part of my newsletter, let me give you some value. So it goes up to that philosophy of, let me give you value without expecting anything in return. And besides that, you are welcome to join my newsletter, where you will get value and insights and tips and everything that another agency may charge you for. Let me give it to
Yeah.
you for free. And that's going to be my main focus on 2024. Is I just want to give as much value as possible to entrepreneurs in the digital space and to e-com business brand owners and anybody that I can bring value to through my content and through my platform. That's going to be the main focus, because that is my purpose. And going back to what we were talking about before, what is it that makes you feel happy? What is it that makes you feel complete? What makes me feel complete is helping people,
Okay.
right? And it's just generating so much content and generating so much value that then some of those people that are getting my value may become customers. That's amazing. But it's going to be a consequence of, and it is not my main priority. I know that if I give all of the value that I have within me, everything else will come to me,
Okay.
right? And
Yeah.
it's that type of intention and dynamic where I'm just giving out without expecting anything in return, and let me keep on doing it. So yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. I'd love to say that we use AI for design and development, but not yet. Some parts of it probably, but AI is still helpful. For example, if our developer stuck at some point and or cannot debug some code part, we can ask ChatGPT to review the code, find the issue. There are other solutions like Copilot from GitHub, and they're really helpful as well for people who don't like to focus on writing the every piece of code just to keep just to make the result faster. But overall, I think regarding to design, for example, we're still far away from perfection here, because there is nothing. There are some parts that we can use, but it's mostly illustrations or some ideas, very rough ideas, and I think person like professional designer, for example, I have in-house designer in my team, and she's much more creative than any of AI currently, and there is no comparison between them so far. But it's very useful when you need to prepare some quick mock-ups of pages and do some dummy content, or get some ideas of the illustration. That's cool. That's cool. But you cannot create really nice videos or still for your business, like small animation or small explainer. It's still not possible. You can, but it doesn't look interesting. It's the same as the content they write. It's still more robotic. So yeah. But we love this innovation. For example, Nick, my team lead, he loves to use ChatGPT to correct his messages to clients, because he likes to talk very detailed. So he provides really long messages but valuable ones, and they love that it's structured very well. But he couldn't do it by himself, or it would take so much time for him. The same about proposals. So when we clarify all details and requirements, we prepare a proposal, and proposal looks so much better with ChatGPT help, right? So yeah, it's helpful, but it's just a tool. It's just a tool
And
that saves time. Yeah.
it saves time. It saves time, and exactly what you said right now. I think it's an educational platform. It is like going back to school. Like, you have artificial intelligence is doing things for you that
Yeah.
you would not be able to do on your own, right? So it's about getting the outcome. Let's say I'm writing an email. I copy paste the email. I put it into ChatGPT, and I tell ChatGPT, improve this email and make it sound genuine, professional, and keep it short. And ChatGPT gives you the final option, right? And then you look at the email that you had written, and you look at the one that ChatGPT is giving you, and you're like, all right, so how can I take this email into account for my future emails? How can I improve it, right? And I think that's what really makes the difference is, okay, it is saving me time, but what do I do with the time that I'm saving? Let me learn from ChatGPT, and let me really get an understanding of how I can improve myself in the future, right? Because this is where it goes, the balance. No? Am I becoming smarter, or am I becoming more stupid? If I always allow ChatGPT
Yeah, exactly.
to do things for
Right.
me, there's going to be a point where I'm not going to be able to write an email on my own, because
Yeah.
ChatGPT is always doing it for me. So it's like, okay, ChatGPT is doing it for me, but let me learn from ChatGPT, and how can I do it better, right? And I think that's why artificial intelligence in today's world is something that is seen as a bright light and huge opportunity to many people, but at the same time is some other people's biggest nightmare. It's like, where is artificial intelligence really going to take us, right? And it's like the human side of things. It's like work life balance is the same thing. Artificial intelligence, human life balance, and where is that ideal point for us to be in that crazy,
Right.
yeah.
But we still have to remember that all AI based on our human experience, our business like experience in the world so far. So without creating something by us, it will be just a looped experience, and they cannot get anything new from this AI if we don't provide anything new to this world. So just copy paste, it doesn't work, because we just slow down the progress, from my opinion. And so AI helps us to learn, and we need to help AI to learn faster as well by providing some new content. For example, in creative industries like design, fashion, anywhere, and coding as well is still far from perfection. But yeah, it's still really good, because, for example, when I just started learning English, I had to wait for my lesson with my teacher to discuss my emails, my messages, discuss the mistakes I did, how to optimize these text. It's not fast, or you have to hire someone and wait for 3 or 4 days, and you are not sure that this is the perfect result or the best results you could get. Right now, it's just instant, right? So for me, for my team, it's really a good progress. And
100%. I mean, being able to access something like that, it's priceless, you know,
but you're completely right about using it and ethics behind using this. Because, for example, when I try to hire someone and for example, let's say we look for a developer, for a coder, and I get 100, 200 people, candidates, and they send me their CV, their portfolio, and that text. I don't even have to read the whole text. I read a couple lines and I say like, why do you send me ChatGPT text? It's not your optimized text. It's not your optimized message to me. It just, you ask, hey, tell something good about some good developer that never existed. And how are you going to work with me? You're going to like send me ChatGPT message every day when I ask you something? Or how are you going to code if you don't really... You cannot really code. You just send me this ChatGPT message. How does it help? So it happens so often that it's really hard to filter them now. And where I save time with ChatGPT now is I spend more time filtering ChatGPT and human messages. So, but I think at some point we'll have to get some tools that help to recognize if it's real message or not. But I understand this cannot be 100% result that is personalized or robotic speech, or it's combined. But I hope you'll get this tool, because people try to use it not in the best case possible.
And I also have a feeling that people are there. Yeah, people are using ChatGPT, but it's like it's the same feeling that it's how life works, right? When you have access to something, or you have it close to you and you can use it every day, you don't use it as much, right? It's like if you know your house is close to the beach, you don't go to the beach as much.
Exactly.
And it's what happens with ChatGPT. I feel like at the beginning there was a very big ball of excitement and everybody wanted to use ChatGPT. Now I feel like the people that use ChatGPT is more maybe from a business standpoint and not so much from a personal standpoint. And I think it's a platform that, as you very well mentioned before, it still has a long way to go in terms of learning and capabilities. I think that ChatGPT depends directly on the input that we put as humans into the platform, right? And that's how it's going to become every time more and more human. It's the same thing with digital marketing, right? If you look at Facebook 6 years ago, 7 years ago, it was a platform where you could get to the right people if you use the right interest-based audience, for example. Nowadays, Facebook has so much data in the system that it does no longer need interest. If you have the right video and the right creative, the algorithm will automatically position that in front of the right ideal customer, right? And the same thing is happening with TikTok, just a little bit fresher. And the same thing is with ChatGPT. It is platforms that the more data they get, the more efficient they become, right? And ChatGPT is relatively new, so it has a long way to go. And I feel like it is our responsibility to feed it the right information in order to get the best answers possible. And it is the responsibility of the algorithm to start to work that in the direction of, okay, so I'm working with humans. I need to take that into account for the value that I'm going to be providing to the people that use me, right? Is how much of a human is ChatGPT in the digital revolution that we're living, right? This is the crazy part, because we're gonna start seeing robots. I mean, I see some videos now on Instagram and TikTok of in California that they have all these robots that are delivering things around the streets and stuff like that. It's becoming
Yeah.
real. We're living in a world where a lot of the things that before humans used to do, now are robots doing it. And that's not going to stop. That's going to become more and more and more and more popular. So where is the balance of that where we keep that human side of things, and where how much do we allow artificial intelligence to get involved in our human world, right? And yeah, it's gonna
Right.
be definitely interesting to see.
Right.
100%.
And okay, back to humans. So I think people who watch us would like to know more about how you approach your marketing and advertising strategies. So could you give us a little bit more information about your services? What you do? How do you do it? What's your offers? Do you have a
Yeah.
maintenance-based plans, or you work like per project? So anything about your business is really interesting.
Yeah, so we usually work on a 3 month based agreement. Okay, and the reason
Mm-hmm.
for that is because by experience we know that 3 months is the necessary period of time for us to build the awareness that is necessary, build the data that is necessary for us to be efficient with our approach, and then being able to generate the desired results, whether it is leads, conversions, traffic to your site, conversation, any objective that you may have, right? One of the things that really makes us different and unique, besides our client services and our very client-oriented approach with all the human side of things that we spoke about before, is being able to combine a very, very solid, proven system from our TikTok ads or Facebook ads strategies, and we'll go a little bit deeper into it now, and also user-generated content.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we live in an advertising world where targeting it is no longer a priority. Now, I would say that 70 to 80% of your brand success online is based on creative, on the content that you're able to generate. Now, one of the things that agencies or e-com brands usually struggle with the most is their ability to generate content in a timely manner and to constantly keep innovating. Okay. What we have done is we have a pool of content creators that are based in the US, Canada, UK, Spain, Australia, and a couple of other European countries. We have this pool of creators that work hand on hand with us and are the ones in charge of generating the content for the e-commerce brands that we work with. So we have a very, very smooth project process in terms of as soon as we start working with a client, the main thing that we prioritize is finding the right content creators for your brand. And once we have found those profiles and they are approved by you as the client, then we start generating all of the content that is necessary. We make sure that we send them the products for them to produce the content. We provide all of the scripting, all of the guidelines for them to shoot the content. And after it has been approved internally and by the client, then we go ahead and launch it in our campaigns. Okay. That allows us to always have the ability to generate content and keep on testing different variations, which is one of the things that that takes an e-commerce brands to success. Okay. Like I always say, the reason that content is so important is not necessarily only high quality content and human content, but is your ability to find a winning ad combination amongst 20 different creatives, right? That will actually help you and allow you to scale your business. Okay. And the reason it is no longer dependent on the targeting side of things is because the algorithm has become so smart. There is so much data in the algorithm that the algorithm will take one video, one ad, and will find the people that are interested in this specific ad just by keeping an open audience. Okay. So the system is, just to give you a little bit of insight on the system, it
Mm-hmm.
starts on top of the funnel. What we usually do is we use dynamic creative variations. So for example, we will use one video, okay, that is exactly the same, and we will only change the hook, and the hook will
Mm-hmm.
be the variation of that video. That
Mm-hmm.
allows us to learn what type of messaging is the most efficient for our users and audience to take action, right? If we test three variations and let's say we find one variation, one hook that is get it before it's too late, let's say that's our hook, then we'll take that hook and we will create additional creatives leveraging that hook and that ad format because we know that this type of combination is the winning one. Okay? We will disregard the other combinations and use what's winning to produce more winning combinations. Mm-hmm. And then we keep that in a testing ad set. So we have a specific ad set that is just created for testing purposes. We find the winning ad in the testing ad set. Then once we find it, we drag it to our main ad set where we keep it evergreen and sustainable going. And then we use the same ad set for testing to test new variations. So it's a constant cycle of testing, find a winner, drag it to the main ad set. The main ad set, we scale it, is what's going to bring us the profitable results, and we keep on testing in the testing process. So I think that's the most important part. I see a lot of businesses that are running. First of all, that they are not running yet content creation, user-generated content, which I think is a missed opportunity, because in a highly competitive e-commerce space, you want to make sure that you build that emotional connection with your users. So I think there's a huge opportunity there. For example, in February this year, we're working with a skincare brand that they have a product for acne treatment. They were running Facebook ads. They were generating about 31,000 euros a month in revenue. They were using static content, images, some GIFs, some carousel, but they were not using user-generated content. They came referred to us for help about how they could actually scale their business. And in just 1 month, we made a huge transition, which was thanks to changing the dynamic from Facebook ads to TikTok ads and starting to generate user-generated content for them, which they were not generating before. In 1 month, we added 85,000 euros in bottom-of-the-line revenue just by transitioning to TikTok ads and using user-generated content. So then again, I feel like a lot of businesses are stuck because they did not have the right person or agency come to them and tell them, look, this is where the opportunity is. Let me show you what we can do for you and how we can do it. And then once they see those results, it's like an awakening from them. It's like, okay, so I have been wasting my time and efforts and my budget into something that was never scalable just because somebody made me believe that it was going to go somewhere when it actually was just, a Nile with no exit, So I think that's one of the things that really makes us different. And then again, one thing that I think is super important is going the extra mile. So even though our main focus is not on website development or CRO, one of the things that we always focus before launching any type of marketing campaign is the website experience. Okay, I have a saying that is your marketing ads and your marketing strategy is the vehicle and your website is the home, right? Mm-hmm. You may have a Rolls Royce as an ad and you may be driving your user to your website in a Rolls Royce. But if the person gets to your home in a Rolls Royce and you don't have drinks to welcome them, you don't have a nice, comfortable couch, you don't offer them a nice dinner, they're not going to stay in your home. And that's what happened to most businesses. They may have good advertising, good ads in place, but then people get to the website and it's like, this is not a continuation of the trip that I started in the ad. I don't want to stay here. What's my value? Or maybe they have a completely different communication on their website than they have in the advertising when in reality your website has to be an extension of your marketing efforts. And I think that's also an issue that many businesses experience today. So before we even run campaigns, we go into the website, we do a basic CRO audit, whether it's the product offer, which is sometimes the main changing factor towards the success of your plan, or what type of copy are you using in your product page? Do you have user testimonials? Do you have ratings? Are you explaining clearly what the product what your product does and what the benefits of your products are? Do you have all of the tracking set up? Do you have the pixels? Are you using GA4 to track through analytics? Are you using UTMs in order to track user behavior? So it's a combination of factors that make the entire difference toward the success of a plan. And I think that's also key to a successful marketing plan, besides all of the testing, creative, and algorithm side of things.
Understood. Thank you, Luis. And what kind of industries do you work with, or specific industry, specific products, specific type of businesses?
I like to focus on, when it comes to e-commerce and retail. I like to focus on businesses that have a very strong USP, right? Products that can really make a difference in people's lives, products that are a necessity in people's lives. I am very, very towards the type of communication and copy and ad structure that is PAS, which is pain, agitate, solution. I think that people respond very well to pain points, and usually the type of content or product that allows you to create a pain, agitate, solution type of copywriting is the type of product that actually can change a person's lives. Whether it is, I have a pimple and I want to get rid of my pimple, whether it is, I'm trying to feed my baby in the most effective way, because I also started during the pandemic my own e-commerce in the baby industry, and then I sold it. But it was also a good experience because the baby industry is a high demand industry, and it has a lot of products that are very, very useful
Yes.
for moms. So usually we're currently working with skincare brands. I also like to work with brands that are in the fashion industry with a solid USP. And for the rest, I also work with some B2B approach. Right now, we're helping a digital marketing agency in the real estate space generate leads and appointments. I like that dynamic a lot, of being able to generate appointments for brands, or businesses that are looking to generate appointments. I think there's a big challenge there in terms of getting the qualified leads versus the amount of leads. And that's something that I see. I like to look at it as a game where you're constantly trying to improve to get the best possible profile. And that's pretty much it. But I don't like to limit myself so much by industry, rather by the type of product and its potential, right? So going back to the same, am I working with Alex? I see that Alex has a genuine mission and purpose and objective with his brand. I see a potential of a long-term partnership here. Let's hop on board. Let's get this started, right?
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay. And any specific regions, or you work with any regions clients come from?
Yeah, so when I was back in Colombia 2017 until 2020 when I left, it was mainly Latin America. I feel like it was also the beginning of my journey, and I kind of relied a lot on the local market, which was good, a lot of networking and physical connections. And I think that as I moved towards Europe, it was kind of opening up to the world, right? It was like, okay, so I'm making a transition in the type of service that I'm providing. I think that is also an opportunity. The fact that I'm moving to Europe, I felt like I was more interconnected. I was like in the center of the world in a way. I was Latin America, the United States, Australia, UK. It kind of opened the gates towards, okay, there's no limit to the services that I can provide or to whom I'm providing them, especially because of the team that I've built, right? Because then I went from Colombia was more like that physical team that was based in the town. We used to meet every Monday for coffee and discuss the plan of the week. And then I transitioned into Europe, and it was like, okay, so I have the best people from all over the world. Let me leverage that to also give service to people around the world and not only in a specific region. Right. And I think that's also very, very cool. I think that one of the things that I love the most about marketing is also how relevant certain platforms are in one country versus another, the response of people. It all goes back to the emotion of our target, right? If, for example, we're running right now some TikTok ads campaigns for lead generation for a financial advisor. Our cost per lead has been extremely low, one of the record holders so far in any TikTok ads plans that we've run. We're generating valuable leads at 50 cents of a dollar, which is absolutely insane. And this is something that we could probably not achieve in Europe, because of the type of audience that we have in Europe. So I think that it's a very cool thing to also play with different demographics and people around the world, because in some countries TikTok may be popular, in some others Facebook is more popular, in some other countries they like to use WhatsApp because it's their priority platform. So it's kind of finding the right strategy depending on the country that you're working with, and trying to make the best for your client and to get to those results. Yeah.
That's cool. So people from any country can come to your agency.
Yeah, yeah. So right now, I would say 70% of our clients are based in the US. We also have some clients in Canada, UK, Spain, and that would be so US, Canada, UK, and Spain are the countries that we're working with right now. But like I mentioned, if we have a good opportunity, let's say tomorrow with an Australian company, we're not going to limit ourselves as long as they are a good fit and we genuinely feel like we can help them. That's also important. Is like I am very upfront in terms of, okay, Alex, you want to work with me? My question to myself is, do I believe I can help you? Right? Do I believe that based on your product and service, I can really bring value to the table? If I don't feel like I can bring value to the table, I will tell you upfront, because otherwise it's a waste of your time and my time. But if I believe there's a genuine opportunity for you to scale with us, that's where I love to dive all in and build a long-term partnership, which usually begins with 3 months. But most of our clients usually go for further because of the experience of working with us and the results that we're able to produce for them.
Yeah, I agree that you have to define if you're a right fit for the customer. And sometimes we also have to decline some projects if we don't feel that it's what we can do well, or if the results will be well. So if project is not really like how to say, if brief of the project made wrong, or some consultant did the wrong way, did the wrong documentation for the client, and client is confused how to move forward, yeah, sometimes we have to say no as well. And that's important. And I don't think that all agencies follow this rule. And that's why at the end of the day, people come to me or to you and say, hey, this was made wrong by the bad team. We want to start again, or we want to fix this, but we don't have time. We don't have a budget, like that stuff, because we spent all that with the previous guys. So yeah, it's important to define if you can really help, or if the client is right fit for you. So if it's fit, that's cool. All right, sounds good. Thank you for all this information. It was really interesting. And I think we have to finish this meeting with some goals for the next year. So I would like to know what would you like to share as your personal goals, as your business and professional goals, and what will be the goals you recommend for everyone who watched this video?
Yeah, so like I think that to finish with and go back to the beginning of the podcast and our
Sure.
the seed to the podcast is I would, I'm personally, one of my goals is focusing on personal development and becoming the best version of myself, because I understand that the better I become, the better I can provide to the world. And I think that's super, super important. One of the things that I haven't done so much in 2023 that I definitely want to change, and I'm already strategically planning to execute on, is being able to generate valuable content for the community and continue to build my community through the different social media channels, not only personal, but also for the agency. Then again, I believe that it is not easy to do, to stay constant and make sure that you're always generating content. Sometimes we become too stubborn in terms of, or too judgmental with ourselves in terms of, should I post this? Should I not post this? But I think we all have incredible, valuable insight in us, and the world deserves to learn about it, right? It's about being less selfish and more generous with the world and share more value, right? I think there's not too much value that you can share, and making a plan for the year where you can, I see many people out there that are afraid of generating content, what they may think about them, what people may say. whether if the content is good or not enough, but you understand that the more content you generate, the more comfortable you get with it. And in the end, the world deserves to get your knowledge. The world deserves to get your insight, right? Before we were not able to do that because we lacked the resources in the digital world. Now I think we have all of the tools necessary in order to be able to spread knowledge and wisdom. And that's one of my main goals of 2024. Definitely is being able to help people with their personal development, help people scale their digital businesses, share with people the learnings that I've had in these previous years, and give them the tools so they can go ahead and implement those, right? Without expecting anything in return. So that's one of the main objectives for 2024. Stay very constant and disciplined with content generation and make a lot of content like the one we're making right now with the podcast. I'm also planning on starting my own podcast, YouTube channel. I want to be present in the, let's say, in the platforms that matter the most to me, with very audio visual content, which I feel is the type of content that really has the ability to impact people and for people to take action, right? So that's one of the main focus areas of 2024 for sure.
Sounds good. I joined
Yeah,
to your goals, and yeah, I plan almost the same. And I wish
amazing.
everyone to have a new goals achieved in the next year, and have some time to relax, to spend the time with yourself. Go to massage, go travel, fly somewhere you've never been, right?
100%,
Some
100%.
yeah,
I mean, I think that you need to feel good with yourself if you want to
exactly.
feel good with everything else, right? And that is the most important part is don't be so rough on yourself. Don't try to do things that you are not meant to be doing just because you feel you have to do them, right? Ask yourself what you're doing, why you're doing it, find the mission, find the purpose. What is it really that makes you happy? What is it really that makes you feel fulfilled? Do more of that so it can actually become a side effect to everything else that you're doing, right? So everything begins here and then goes outside. And I think that's what people should realize a little bit more of in life. Otherwise, we die. And sometimes I feel like a lot of people really die and finish their lives without even found their purpose or mission in this life, because it's like part of the rat race where we do, but we don't even know why we're doing it, and I think that's important. Is sometimes take a step back, look at your life, and really understand what is it that really makes you feel whole, complete. Yeah,
I agree. Find your life and live your life. Exactly.
exactly,
I
exactly,
think this is a
100%.
perfect moment to finish this podcast. And thank you, Luis, for joining me today. And at the end of this year, at the beginning of the next year. And I hope we'll talk soon again on your podcast as well. And maybe
100%.
maybe somewhere else. And I have some questions about business I'd like to discuss with you as well. But yeah, let's wrap it up at this point. And thank you again. And have a good day.
Thank you so much, Alex. It was a pleasure. We'll definitely be doing another podcast, hopefully on my channel. And hopefully this chat was super valuable to the people that are going to be watching us and excited for what is to come this 2024.
Yeah, thanks everyone for watching this, and see you in the next episode.
Amazing. Have a good one,
Bye
guys.
bye.
Ciao, ciao. Bye bye.